you for joining us on Relationship Convo with my special guest.
Byron and Margaret McKie.
Thank you for joining us. So
Thank you.
How long y'all been married?
26 years.
Wow. I was married for 10 and it was mad trials and tribulations. I wonder what y'all went through.
We've had
mad trials and tribulations.
Yeah, but
it wasn't mad, but it was some there, definitely.
Mhm.
we were really good friends before we delve into relationship, and I think that was our saving grace. We always have that friendship to lean back on. So
Yep.
How long y'all was friends before y'all got into a relationship?
about 5
to 6 years.
about 5.5 years. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So usually her date other people, did she come with you with the problems? Like, he did this, he did that?
I didn't necessarily go to him, but he was in a 2-year relationship, and you know what? Honestly, he didn't come to me about her. It was our mutual friends, and they would call me and say, "You need to do something."
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, exactly.
But we could see the train wreck that he was involved in,
Yep.
but he couldn't see it. So, other than that, I think we avoided talking about being with other people because I think deep down we knew that we liked each other, and so we kind of avoided that.
We didn't want to put that on each other. Like,
Yeah.
we liked each other, but we didn't want to be like around each other talking about, who we were dating and stuff like that.
What was your first date, if y'all remember?
What was the first official date?
First official date.
That's when you helped me move. That was
I guess so.
so I went off to school, and I had to find myself. Some young people do.
Mhm.
And I got to the point where I said I need to go home so that I could finish school. And that Christmas break, I would come home on breaks and we would go and hang out and things. But I told him, I said, well, I'm moving back, and I asked him to help me move.
Yeah.
And so that was the first time he had recently, him and his ex had broken up, and so from there, once I moved back, it was like we were together all the time, just like when we were friends, but that's when the change happened.
Yeah. Just started hanging out, and if I had to say, the first date was probably IHOP or something like that, or
Yeah.
Waffle House, maybe.
I'm a cheap date.
Yeah, girls are like that nowadays. You see the
Look,
videos.
right, exactly. And when it comes to, he said something one time, because there was a Chinese buffet that we would go to when we were just friends, and we would eat. And he told me, he said, I knew when I watched you at that buffet that I wanted to make you mine. because you would go back and get more.
Yep. Wasn't afraid to eat in front of him.
No,
I said,
not at
my type
all.
of woman.
That's right.
How long it took y'all to get married? How long y'all was engaged for?
So we refer to 97 as the year it all changed.
Yep.
So when I moved back in January, and we started to, I guess that was officially dating.
Officially started dating, and then what happened was, us hanging around all the time and with each other every day, and she started getting sick. So, I questioned her, and I was like, "Well, you think you may be pregnant?" She was like, "I don't know." So maybe a couple of weeks later, she took a test, and she tested, and then she finally sat down and told me. So I was like, okay. Now, mind you, before all this, we had been talking about, eventually marrying each other. We felt that, this was the time to be together. Now, when we met, we were teenagers. So it was like, well, dating and things like that. It was just like, that's my girlfriend, that's my boyfriend. We claimed each other, but we never really like set anything in stone. So found out she was pregnant. I was happy. She was happy.
We were something.
We were
We were happy and
Well,
scared and
well, I
everything
ain't gonna
else.
say happy. We were elated.
We were something.
And so our story is a little unorthodox because we actually moved in together because we knew we wanted to be together, but didn't know how we were gonna do it. Baby coming was like, hey, move together. She didn't want to bring a baby home to her mom's house, and I wanted to do the right thing as a man. So we got an apartment together. Um, we had been talking about married, but I'm the typical guy, like, I'm not ready financially. I needed this. And she was like, well, baby is coming, whether if you're ready or not. So something needs to give. And I thought about it and thought about it. And then like a week before the baby was born, we got married.
Yeah.
Did a courthouse ceremony. And then the baby was born exactly a week after we got married.
We were married on the 13th and we had him on the 20th. So
of December.
So I got married in a couple of months then.
Right. So 1997, we refer to as the year it all changed. We went through every phase during that year.
So 9 months plus, dating. So probably like 11 months. I got married. That's amazing. My story is different. But do y'all ever had like hard times raising your first child? I know it was hard for me. Like
it was so.
And
he's 26 now, and we talk to him and tell him all the time, like, you were a guinea pig. Parenting is, you in the moment you make these decisions, and honestly, any parent, it's like you have to see the outcome to see if it works the way you wanted it to.
Right.
And so we were so young, we basically grew up with him. And so like it was difficult because you just don't know what to expect. And I know for me, my background and with how I was with my parents, I was afraid of like messing my kid up. So it was like you make a decision and then you're waiting to see the outcome and you question everything afterwards. So we've always had a close relationship with our kids. It's easier now that they're adults. Not having that weight of responsibility and hoping that, I hope this doesn't mess them up. So we've always been close with them, and we've had a strong support system. My mom was very involved. My our friends, so we had this strong support system, but I'm glad that they're adults now.
They tell us, hey, y'all did good. So it's like, okay, well, I guess I did mess you up when I locked you in the car.
Right. But that one time when you fell off the bed.
I understand all that. My first child was similar. Like I was very, very protective. And like, so I used to check if they breathing. Both I got 2 kids. I was always check to see if they breathing. I used to watch them sleep with that. And like my first child, I was very like hands-on. So basically fruits and vegetables always, no music, no rap music, no, no nothing like that, nothing negative on TV. I always found something educational to read. My daughter when she was first born and stuff like that. And she was able to read since she was 2. She go to college in August.
That's awesome.
Yes. And my son, it was different. His mother basically raised him. I basically raised my daughter because I had custody of her for the beginning of her life. Then once I married her mother, she got her rights back, and this is how she ended up living with her mother eventually. My son was raised differently. Like, it took him longer to read. I thought he was dyslexic or something like that, but then he just had like a growth spurt. Like he a math whiz right now. He can read perfectly now. He's doing very good in school. 80s and 90s on his car card. Like,
Mhm.
but like he was a
That's
very, very different child in the beginning.
Right.
That's one thing that they taught us, man. It's like you can have in your mind that you're going to do X, Y, and Z, and regardless of what you put in, they're going to give you something, different.
Right.
In
You
this case, it's
just
surprising. You can't
right. You can't predict
you can't
it.
predict it,
Mm-mm.
but the one thing is, as long as you set a foundation, you'll have. Only thing we ever wanted was good, decent human beings.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Do your
Yeah.
best in school, just be good, decent human beings,
Mhm.
so that people, will have a good effect. And when you walk, I always thought that when I walk away from somebody, I want them to feel good. At least, even if they don't necessarily feel good, but feel not like, oh man, that dude's he's a butthole. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
As long as you can do that, you are a good human being.
You're right.
Do you have a moment about your son that he made you so proud and you was like, yeah, I did it right?
And honestly, we look at them now, and
Yeah.
like our favorite time now is to sit with them and talk and laugh, and the way that they see things and view things. And we've even talked about some of the things when they were younger they got upset about, and they're like, oh yeah, we understand now.
Yeah. I think the proudest moment that I've had with my son was when him and I would tell him things over the years, like this is how you do, this is how you do. And when he told me, he said, him and I just had a conversation, and he said, Dad, there's I have a lot of different friends out there, and I just want to appreciate you because, some of my friends didn't even have a dad to talk to, or they don't have good relationships. And I know that, you had my best interest at heart, even though I didn't agree at the time. And, that was one of my proudest moments, because it was like, as you're disciplined and as you're talking to them, you're like, I hope you're getting it. I hope you're getting it. You don't really know until, like I say, when they come back to you, or if you are able to see it exemplified, or every now and then I hear them talking to a friend or something, and they say something that I know that came from me, and I'm like, okay, all right, it's in there.
Also, so we adopted a teenager
Yes.
once. We had our two birth children, and we adopted a teenager, and it was not a good situation. Obviously, a teenager in the system, there's a background there.
Yes.
And so she ended up running away, and she was gone for several years. And when she was 21, she popped back up and she said, I have a baby and I want to come home. And we eventually adopted the baby because she wasn't ready to parent. And I struggled with whether or not that adoption, or how that adoption affected our birth children.
Right.
And so, like I said, those decisions you make, and you start to go back and question. So, and we love her. We're so proud of her. She, in fact, about 3.5 years ago, she told me, she said, Mom, I think I'm ready to be a mom. And so she has her youngest with her now, and she's doing well, and we support her as the grandparents that we're supposed to be.
Yep.
Instead of raising a little one again.
Yep.
So, but even those decisions we've looked at and questioned, how those affected our how those decisions affected our birth children, and things like that. But in the end, there again, this past Christmas was the first Christmas in a long time that we had all of them together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to see them all together, and they have their sibling fights, they take up for each other, to see them go through all of that again, that's when you realize it's worth it.
Yep, exactly.
It sounds like you got a beautiful family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So mine's is, I knew I did right when I took my kids shopping once, both of them, and it was times where like they picked something that's so expensive. Like one time I think my son picked a pair of sneakers that's like $180. like, and like he like at this time he only like probably 10 years old, but it's like he wouldn't like it was just so expensive. And I think it was Crocs. I think it was Crocs actually.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my goodness. And he like, Dad, don't worry about it. Like I get something cheaper. I'm like, nah, it's okay. And both of them did that to me several times. Like they would pick something that's so expensive, some Jordans or something like that. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like I don't pay this much for my sneakers.
Right.
I'm telling you.
But I try to like I didn't have as much as when I was a kid, but I was around people parents that did credit cards and stuff like that.
Right.
Scammers, drug dealers, and they had to fly clothes, and I didn't have none of that stuff. I've been working since I was 14, so it's a different experience. I don't know if you see my videos, and like when you talk about your kids, like how they affect them and stuff like that. My father got over 40. My father got 40 kids. He claimed 37, but he don't claim 3. I haven't seen him since I was like 14, and he coming up here to visit us in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Oh my God. Okay, I need a moment to process. So do you all do y'all communicate? My gosh.
But the sister and brother I grew up with, they socialize
Mhm.
with them all the time. And I think my sister know most of them. I only talk to probably 3 on a regular, 3, 4 on a regular. I probably got 3 or 4 on my Instagram, and the rest I probably just like send like a happy birthday to once or twice. I don't know if they like reach the right person and stuff like that, because so many emails, so many Facebook, stuff like that. And it's just difficult. I did an episode on it, and my sisters was very upset. You could watch it. There's a lot of yelling, a lot of blaming my mother and stuff like that.
Oh wow. Wow,
So
man.
What is the age range?
I'm older than some of them, and I'm in the middle of my brother and my sister I grew up with. So, but they all some older than me. And like one time I was on Instagram, and I sent my sister a message. I said, "Happy birthday!" I said, "Happy birthday, big sis." She said, "I'm your little sister. Don't ever say that." And then I talked to my other sister. Talked to my other sister. It's like, yeah, she was mad. She called me. She was mad. You called her your big sister.
Oh my
man.
goodness.
Well, I thought I had I'm the youngest of 10. So I thought I had a remarkable story, but man, chronicle that.
Now,
Chronicle that movie. That's valuable.
one more question. So the 3 that he doesn't like what qualifies those 3?
I don't know.
Because once you get to 37, I mean, at that point, you might as well. Oh my God.
I don't know. Maybe he's just skeptical and stuff like that, about how the birth would happen or something. But it's like 3 that he don't claim. I think my sisters talk about it a little bit on the episode. That's where I heard it from.
Yeah,
and
go back and look at that one.
I'm the youngest of 5, or at least so my dad says you're the baby that we know of. So
I heard that.
So I'm the youngest that we know of, and I'm convinced, because he was in Vietnam, I'm convinced that I have at least one Amerasian sibling. So I'm on 23andMe. I'm gonna try and get on Ancestry and see if I can connect with that one.
Yeah.
But I just like one of my brothers, I just kind of stumbled upon when I was 19. And so for me, it was an odd, traumatic type thing. And we did a video about how being an adult, I'm still affected by the adults in my life and their choices. So I grew up as an only child because they were with their moms. And I feel like I kind of missed out on having a sibling relationship because the adults didn't do right by us, or each other, really. And my mom had she was in a long-term relationship. They never married. And so he had kids, and when my mom passed away, And then a few years later, he passed away. Like the time between my mom passing, I was telling him, I don't know, do I call? Do I go see him? I don't know, because my mom was the connection and they weren't married.
Yeah.
And then when he passed away, it was just an awkward type thing because, you know, his kids and I never really bonded or anything. It wasn't a good, they didn't get together under the best terms. They were both still married to, like, married to my dad. He was married to their mom when they started seeing each other. So it's just awkward. And when the choices that the adults make still have impact on you as an adult, you know, that's just something to think about. And there again, with parenting our own kids, it makes me like question the decisions I make because I know how my parents' decisions have affected me.
It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What do you consider cheating? No, but is it one at a time though? You know, I want to hear both of your opinion.
Have we considered cheating?
Yes.
We just did a video about that emotional infidelity. And we talked about, you know, there was I guess we got to a 10-year period and you know, kind of going through the motions, you're raising kids, you're working, you're trying to build on what you have. And then, you know, of course, social media. I know mine was social media. Mine was a attitude of, let me see if I still got it, you know, kind of like the, and the conversation started because of a motorcycle. I'm into motorcycles, and we communicated, and there was some communication going on. And I think, I know it was around about the same time as when you started talking to your person. And you know, nothing physical ever happened.
Right.
But we just, you know, it was that emotional connection that was there, you know, just having something with someone else to relate to and not communicating with each other, you know, on what our needs are. So we had that learning experience.
I think for me, and I've always, the idea of like physically cheating with someone is nowhere near as bad than that emotional connection for me. And so it was eye-opening for both of us for different reasons, I think.
Yeah.
And it put us in the position to where we had to say, okay, we're gonna have to learn how to have difficult conversations with each other, or we're gonna end up messing up what we have.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, we did a video about that. And as we were talking about it, we talked about how just going back and thinking about those things still brings up that frustration and those negative emotions, which there again reinforces, you know, I don't want to go down that road again because I know that it brings him pain and discomfort,
right,
and things. But physically, no. I think that both of us in those instances, once we got to a point where it could have crossed the line, that was when reality kicked in.
Yeah.
And if I cross this line, that means that I lose my family.
Yeah, because she told me from the jump, like, a lot of kids, brother.
Yeah. 4 kids. So I hope she loves you.
I totally agree with the emotion part because it just take a moment. You know, I has been in a room with females alone, like, I'm bored, you wanna have sex? And okay, and you just do it. It just takes a moment of being alone with somebody and like you said, having that some kind of connection, you know, whether it's friendship or some kind of intimacy, you know, whether it's like not even wanted from the other person. You know, it's always, people always catch feelings like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Crushes.
But the thing is, like, with opposite sex, like, you know, people use that term friends, and I think we use it in such a vague manner. Like, there are people that I associate with, females I associate with, and they are friends. They've been friends for a long time, friends of the family. I can, they'll call on me because I work on cars and stuff like that on the side, ask me questions and things like that. And I may, work on their vehicle and stuff like that. But, we're not talking to each other on a daily basis. Hey, how you doing? What's going on in your life? You know what I'm saying? And we're not communicating in that manner. So, I think when people mix up and they say, well, yeah, you got same-sex friend or opposite-sex friends, I think it needs to be looked at, well, what level is that friendship? Because there are some people that, I'm friends with, even some of my male friends. I don't talk to them every day. And so it's like, I always challenge people when they say, well, you can't have opposite sex friends and this, that, and the third. And it's like, well, what level of a friendship is it? Because like I say, I don't associate with them. I might be 2 or 3 months go by and I don't hear from them. And then they might, of course I see them on social media, make comments, stuff like that. But other than that, we're not like on the phone with each other day. They're not telling me about their life, and I'm not telling them about my life, because this is my best friend. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I look at all that.
Yeah.
Do you think a man can have a female friend?
I don't. I don't. And like he said, he has friends who call on him and things like that. That's one thing. But like if we're sitting up watching TV and you texting and kikiing back and forth with a woman, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And I would expect him to have a problem if I'm doing that with a man. But I have in the past I've had coworkers, and we'll text each other about work-related type things or whatever. But I feel like I just feel like when you have someone and you say, this is my friend, we were friends. We were completely platonic friends until we weren't.
Yep.
And in those situations, I'd put money on if somebody propositions the other person. I'd put money on things crossing friendship lines.
I would venture to say that if most men would be honest, I mean, if they have a close friend or whatever, if, we don't cross boundaries or whatever, but if she was like, come to you in a vulnerable state and like, hey, let's do something, I'm frustrated, I think most men would probably do it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just, I want to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway, if they would be honest with themselves. But I mean, like I said, the level of the friendship within a relationship should be respected. Like my associate shouldn't expect to call me at 11 o'clock at night and talk about her problems. You know what I'm saying? So, there has to be a level of respect. And so, I mean, people move how they move, but I would say at the end of the day, it's not a good.
It creates the emotional connection.
Yeah, it creates a situation.
And anytime you're feeding into that emotional connection, that it opens the door for things to go further.
Yep. Not only that, it gives you an avenue. So when you're not working things out with your relationship, it's like, well, let me call such and such, and talk to them, and then that could create some things.
You said you reached a rush pack 10 years into your marriage. Do y'all gotta keep things new and spontaneous?
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
But we like he said, we're friends and we enjoy each other.
Yeah.
And that's in a friendship manner, that's sexually, that's I mean, we just enjoy being around each other and spending time with each other.
One of the things that we have done was as far as any likes or hobbies that each person has, we involve each other with them. She knows I like riding bikes. So, she'll ride with me, and that has helped us, grow in that aspect. She does crocheting, and I have been the guinea pig in the past. Crochet hat or something like that, and I'll try it on, or she asks my opinion of how does this color look or how does that look. We involve each other in our activities, so it's like there is no I guess I don't know if we necessarily have to renew anything or revitalize anything.
Because we pour into each other.
We just pour into each other all the time.
Yep.
And sometimes it's, it's not hard, especially today, we text each other daily, have a good day. I love you. I work shift work, so I'll get up, different times of the day. When I'm off, I might text her, hey, how's your day been? Things like that. And, we try to keep the spice going all the time. So
yeah.
Do y'all suppress yourselves in your relationship? So what I mean by that is, do you watch the way you dress, or do you watch who you're around? So basically, she'd be like, I don't want you around that person no more, or he'd be like, I don't want you around that person no more. We just listen.
Well, I think that her and I, on a personal note, has throughout the years, we have garnered ourselves away from certain people, and not that, I have friends that are single. I have friends, but one thing is my single friends respect my relationship with my wife. So they're not like, man, you don't hang out with the fellas no more. What's up with that? They're usually like, hey man, we doing something this day. They'll joke around with me. Ask Mark, it's okay, can you, joke around with me and stuff like that. But
now
if it's somebody that I don't feel that promote my relationship, I'm usually like, well, I don't need to be around you too much anyway, brother.
he's nicer than I am. I'll cut people off in a heartbeat. So our first was it Valentine? Our first Valentine?
Yeah, it's first Valentine.
There was a friend of mine from school who was in town, and she was like, I'm just in town for one night. I'm not, it's our first Valentine's. And so I stopped speaking to her. I mean, I have spoken to her throughout the years, but to me, that showed me that she doesn't really respect the fact that I'm married. So,
I would say if you have a problem with cutting people off, you can pull back.
Yeah, he pulls back. I cut him out. I don't care. I'll cut him off. But I think that we have been pretty consistent with the people that we allow in our space. And I think that it's like that now because early on it wasn't. And we were open to people, but I don't think we've had any disagreements in terms of who we start to pull back from.
Right.
And that I think is just like, he's a good person and he tends to be more open. But if I feel like someone is like trying to take advantage or whatnot, then I speak up.
Yeah, she'll let me know, like, I don't know about that brother there.
Right.
And even if I'm like hard-headed about it, I'll watch them.
Yeah, I lost a lot of relationships from people butting in my relationship and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now I just cut, like you said, I just cut them off now. Like I cut a lot of people off from last year, and I just like do myself now.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You know when there's people not good for you, or like I said, if they don't promote you in a sense, like people are like sponges, they'll just suck up away from you what they can. It's like, if I had to look at my friendships as, are you pouring into me? You know what I'm saying? And how do we affect one another? And if I'm always walking away from you and feeling bad, I need to reassess our friendship.
That goes for family also.
Yeah, family too.
My thing is anybody who is not for me is automatically against me.
Yep, exactly.
And I tend to soak in energy. And so I'm very mindful about who I allow in my space. And because of that, it's also easy to cut them out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you got, but yeah, it took me about 2-3 times to figure that out, and then once I figured it out, I've basically, spazzed out on them, and it's like they talk about my relationships. They ever talk about your relationships, and I went into details about each one of their girlfriends they had over the years, and like like one of them that was talking about my relationship all the time. I'm like, your girlfriend had threesomes in cars, and she had threesomes in front, like I had threesomes in front of people, and you got cockhold people, right? I'm like, he like, but no, matter of fact, this is what he tried to say about that girl. Okay, like we know another girl, right? She met a guy that's established. He owned property. He's a CEO. He has some kind of money, and he's like, she don't deserve that dude, man. This girl deserves that dude. I'm like, huh? I'm like, I called out her name. I used that W word,
Yeah.
I'm like, you like, how? This is that. She used protection. The conversation just went left and all that. I said, yeah, you know what? I said, I don't need to talk to you no more. I just stopped talking to him.
Right. You have to consider the source when it comes, like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool, and all that. And like you saying, this girl deserve a rich guy.
Yeah, that's one
that's
thing.
best.
Even with family, man, it's like we've had to learn. I've had to learn. See, with some family, it's like, you got a few times to show me that you're not in support of me and my relationship, and then I'm gonna have to, pull away from you. Like I say, you don't always have to get folks told, but ain't nothing like,
I don't mind though.
after they call you a few times, you don't answer, or you don't respond to texts. Eventually, they'll get the message. I'm saying, or I'm quick to be like, look, I ain't gonna be able to make it, even if I ain't doing nothing. Be like, I ain't gonna be able to make it.
How often do y'all go on dates?
Man, I tell you, because we are semi-empty nesters, it's our kids are grown. It's like it's what you want to eat. Like tonight, we'll probably figure out we're gonna grab something. Every now and then, we might dress up and go somewhere, get some nice good dinner or whatever. But as far as that's concerned, we're just happy, truly, honestly, just sitting around each other, and I might throw on some Dateline. We love TV shows where, they solve the mysteries or whatever, murder mysteries or whatever. And we'll watch that. She'll crochet and I'll be on my iPad doing something or editing podcasts, whatever. We cool doing stuff like that,
We and because of his work schedule, the time that I've thought about it since we started the podcast, and I wonder, they say absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Mm-hmm.
The way that he works, we end up, he works nights, 7 nights out of the month?
Yeah.
So every month there's 7 nights that we're not spending together, that he's at work. And then when he's on days, he works 12-hour shifts. So by the time he gets home, there's literally time to eat and maybe watch something on TV, and then it's time for bed. So when he has off time, it could be something as small as we go pick up a pizza and watch TV.
Yeah.
Or like he said, sometimes we'll get dressed and go out to dinner, but the time that we have together, we make the best of it.
Yep.
So we are constantly looking for ways to spend time together. Be it, we have a little market at the riverfront. We'll go there on Saturdays and, things like that, even if it's not big stuff.
Yeah.
Do she cook you dinner every night?
I'll say most nights.
Most nights. It's real dinner. It's not real fish sticks. It's real dinner.
Nah. But you know, like stuff like that, like
I cook now. Now, when the kids were younger, there were more. Even then, like I've always had a balance of, convenience and cook.
We've never had the, I guess, the traditional roles, so to speak, the marriage. Because I work shift work and I've worked it so long, there were times when I would cook,
I come home to a hot cooked meal.
Depending on what the situation was. And, we had kids, especially when the kids were younger. They didn't want to wait when mama got home. I'm ready to eat now. I got home. So, I could whip up some hamburger helper or whip up a full meal, you know what I'm saying? So we just, kind of like balanced out throughout the years. And I've never required her to necessarily cook. It's not like, I want my dinner cooked every night by this such and such time, we just rode the flow,
Yeah, we gotta eat.
Yeah, we gotta eat. So we're gonna eat.
Yeah.
And she'll come like now. We're semi-as empty nesters, but she'll, most nights she'll cook. Then some nights she'll be like, well, because we're doing the podcast, we're doing all these different ventures. So it's like, well, sometimes we may not have time.
Yeah.
So it's like, well,
now
grab something to eat or something.
Our son, the boy, as we refer to him, he actually has a diploma in culinary arts. And so he's home now. And so sometimes we get him to cook.
Sometimes he cooks.
So that's been nice too. That's a nice role reversal.
Get that daughter of ours cook.
Every now and then.
Or they'll get something.
Bring
it, which I want to eat. So
I only had a few girlfriends. Like I wasn't calling it, like I don't believe in love, where in a sense where you only fall in love once. Like once you find that person you fall in love with once, like you can't love 30 people. You can't be in love with, the feeling's not the same for that first person you fell in love with, or that true person you fell in love with. Mine was a chef. She was a chef, and she used to cook for me, and like she used to cook very, very fancy meals. And half the time I didn't eat it because, like I said, it was fancy meals. Like, like my taste buds wasn't having it. And, it used to get upset and like I wasn't eating her food like how she wanted. But I did have my favorites. I
had some regular chicken.
and my baby mother, my kid's mother, and that's the only ones that ever, cooked for me. Out of the other probably 5, I probably dated. No. And if they did, I probably wouldn't want to eat it. so that's why. I just had one. I had a girlfriend. She it was like a open relationship. She's bisexual, so she had a girlfriend, and I was her boyfriend. She used to cook for me all the time. Like they lived across the street, so she used to cook for me and bring her like the Tupperware.
Okay.
And as soon as she leave, I go out the door and throw it in the incinerator.
You know what?
I want to eat it.
So can you cook?
Yes, I work in hospitality. So
all right.
So I prep cook. I cook regular cook. I was a sous chef at British Airways.
Okay.
Okay.
Just like that,
Awesome.
But I don't. But I always tell people, when I tell people that I work as a chef and stuff like that, I do not have a problem doing dishes and stuff like that. So I also do dishwashing jobs and stuff like that because it's freelance. I see it on the app and it pays, I'm going.
Our son, he has started bartending and he enjoys that much more than the food service part of it. So he's bartending now. But he would get upset when he first went through culinary school. He wants to season things to his palate. And then he'd get upset if I didn't eat it. Like, son, it's very salty. Well, I cooked and well, if you're gonna cook to your palate, son.
Tell him like daddy might like it because daddy like his food seasoned, but he cooked something not long ago and it was heavily seasoned. And I was like, man, I nibbled at it.
See, everywhere I work at, it's a book and it's a menu, it's a recipe inside that book, and we follow
Right.
the letter.
Yeah,
You don't add nothing else. But
Right.
Nothing else.
Right.
Yep.
And he likes to experiment.
Yep.
And that's cool. Just don't experiment with food that you want me to eat.
I'm gonna double back on something you just said. You said you didn't believe in love.
Mhm.
Am I quoting you correctly?
Yes.
Okay. I can respect that, but I will say that, you know, and we have this thing where we say like is stronger than love, because you have to like that individual in order to want to be around them, in order to want to spend time with them, in order to, so, you know, at least like the person.
Yeah.
That's just my
You hurt his feelings with that.
No, I totally understand. And like person,
I honestly believe that, you know, how they say, you know, there's that one person. I don't think that there's necessarily one person. I think that there are several different spirits that you could attach yourself to, that you guys would be perfect together, that's out there in the world. You know what I mean? It's like, can't be one person out of 9 billion people. I mean, come on, that's not reality. You mean that means that you might not never meet the person that's in Singapore. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Well, there has to be, you know, somebody out there that, you know, that you can attach yourself to. So I mean, just keep that in mind, brother. I mean, you know,
You hurt his feelings.
No, we just all about
it's just like I see
miss out. You know what I'm saying?
When I see red flags, and like, and I just run. I just run afterwards. Once I see the red flags, you know, and it could be little things. It could be little petty things, but like the person I'm talking about, like I loved her. Like I loved her. I wanted to marry her. I told her that plenty of times I wanted to marry her. She just wouldn't like reciprocate, basically. Like it just it's always, I did this, you did this, you did that, and it's like, can you like stop, you know, blaming me for everything that happened in the relationship, you know? So it just went like that. But like I said, every other girl is just like red flag after red flag. One girl got into a car accident, and like basically, like, you know, like she act like she like immobilized, like she couldn't move certain ways, but she liked to have sex. Like I had one girl, she was living with a dude that she was dating, and but claimed she wasn't sleep with him, but she wanted a relationship with me. You know,
Wow.
you know. So I'm like, no, you live with homeboy. You're like, what's up?
Them flags are burgundy right there.
You know, the lesbians, I told you, the bisexual girl and the lesbian girl, like the lesbian girl didn't like when me and the girl did stuff by ourselves, so that became a problem. So it was always arguments over that. It was just always a problem, you know, whoever tried. And but that one girl, like, she was perfect. She's like perfect in my eyes, but but I wasn't perfect in her eyes, you know. So like I thought she was one for me, but I guess she wasn't one. Didn't feel the same, and I just stopped calling. I just stopped texting and all that. I'm like, yo, you know, there was no accountability.
That's
like
fair.
Yeah.
But I'm here to tell you, man. It's another one out there. It's another one out there for you, man.
I'm not looking though. Like if it comes, it comes. But I'm not looking.
You're not looking, but I'm just saying, it's another one that's gonna get that feeling.
Yeah, like
I like that. I like that. I like her.
you gotta find a woman that actually. I would have to find a woman that actually will want things that she says she wants. Like a lot of women say they want certain things and they don't. Like, for example, I met a girl the other day. I met her, you know, we talked, made her, you know, laughing, this and that, got her phone number. So I think the next day, I text good morning. She never respond. So I would never write again. You know, it's just, I would never write again. I will see her again, you know, but I just, like, when I see her, I'll just, you know, keep it natural, you know.
Yeah.
You don't want to make this logo.
Well, it's a nice one.
Yeah.
So, and maybe, I don't know, maybe she was taken aback by maybe your conversation. It was so good. Both of y'all had to take a minute to process. No.
Go. Hey, go.
It just
now the way I used to move now. You about like me now. Back in the day, I used to be like, look, I don't want to bother nobody. So if I reach out one time, okay, you don't call back, that's one thing. Second time, third strike, that's it. I'm not
Nah,
third time you ain't responded, I'm not bothering you no more. I'm done.
I don't do the strike thing. Excuse me. I don't do the strike thing because like I don't have a problem. Like I don't have a problem approaching a girl or a woman, but like most of the time they approach me. Like I got dreads, like so they even want to touch my hair, or if I be smoking, they want to can I get a light? Unless they know they be talking, so it's not a really a problem for me. So that's why like I said, I'm not even looking. Like if it happens, it happens, But like most of the women I meet is just like I don't feel that attraction. Like okay, I'm bringing you home to my mother. It's not happening. Only 2 women met my mother.
Well, I just want you to have hope.
His mother.
I just want you to have hope, brother. That's all. Just have hope. Have hope. Keep the faith.
When I get my passport, I'm gonna have hope. Okay.
Oh no!
Hey, it might be it might have to go to another country. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
You mentioned Singapore, so
I have to go to another country. It's all right.
I want to go to Africa. I think Nigerian women is gorgeous.
There you go. You're from the motherland.
So how many places y'all travel? I heard somebody say Singapore.
We have
Mexico,
been to Mexico and
West Virgin Islands, Bahamas. We've done quite a few cruises. We had some trips in the States.
New Orleans is my favorite.
New Orleans is our second home.
My favorite.
How often do y'all go back?
If you have never been to New Orleans,
I'm trying to go back in June.
Yeah.
For my birthday.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not really like because you hear stories, the prison out there, they still ride horses and stuff like that. What it's like out there with the the other group of people out there.
That prison there is in another city.
But we did
we did the slave tour.
We did the
one time.
Not the last time we went, the time before that we went to one of the plantations.
Mm-hmm.
And that was I don't even know how to explain how you feel standing there and they said something. It was a self-guided tour, so they had the little recorded things. And one of the things said something about it being a functioning plantation up until 1970 something, 75, I think, something like that. And I mean, just to hear that and to be there, and it was something. But when
as far as the city, like New Orleans, I mean, it's like any major city.
It's not like any major. It's not like anywhere.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you've got your places you hang out, a lot of restaurants, a lot of tourism there.
One thing I can say is I've never felt like I was treated like a tourist.
Yeah.
You know how some places there's a clear line between locals and tourism, and they treat the tourists different. Like I've never felt that way. They welcome everybody with open arms.
Like New Orleans, because marijuana is, I guess, legal there now, and so you've got your dispensaries and you've got your brothers on the street. You know what I'm saying? You want to get a bag or whatever. So it's like, where we stay is close to the popular Bourbon Street. And so there's all types of different bars.
You see
everything down there. Only problem I've ever had is because we are from Georgia, and I happen to be an Atlanta Falcons fan. So I will wear my Atlanta Falcons gear when I'm there. And of course, the New Orleans Saints, they're like rivals. So I get a little smack talking here and there, but
he said the problem he has, but he chooses to put it on.
Oh yeah,
and he knows they're gonna stop us from the time we land.
Yeah.
But it's it's like no other place I've ever been.
Yeah. It's our favorite.
Yeah, but be careful with that, you know, because like certain places like LA, for example, you can't wear certain hats, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh
colorways,
yeah.
LA,
you
yeah,
know.
I ain't doing that in LA. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm definitely moving different in LA.
Yep.
Sure.
We stayed when we did. I actually won a trip to watch the filming of Jeopardy several years ago.
Yeah.
But we stayed in the touristy type, you know, we went to the studio and we had a studio tour, and we went to I think the Comedy House Club there
Improv,
in
yeah.
Hollywood. Yep. So we did nice touristy type things there.
And I made sure I didn't have the colors on.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on these podcasts, these Red Pill podcasts, like Fresh and Fit? I think it's called whatever. You got Adam 22.
I don't even. We're old. I don't.
So you don't know what Fresh and Fit is, something like
Nope.
that? Yeah.
No, we're old.
We old. Like I know there are a lot of popular ones, and you know it's like everybody's in the podcast game now, so it's like I think there's something for everyone, and a lot sometimes it's just like but you know how the algorithms go in social media. You know how like if you click on something, of course you'll get a bunch of it. And sometimes I'll click on certain stuff and I might see it, and then sometimes I don't. So, but if people recommend me stuff, I'll definitely check it out. But
Yeah. But you know what red pill and blue pill stuff is, right?
yeah. Heard
Yeah.
of that.
So what you think about that? The red pill, blue pill conversation.
Is that the one where like, I guess
Like from the Matrix?
No, so basically it comes from the Matrix, yes. But basically it is blue pill or people that believe in the fairy tale romance. You're gonna meet the girl, you're gonna have the white picket fence, you're gonna get married, have kids. But red pill, like, no, it's not happening like that. she gonna do OnlyFans. She gonna want your money. She gonna want your car.
See,
that's okay.
It's hard because
yeah.
when we look at like our son's age group, it's very red pill like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. They're doomsday.
So, but even I have a friend who's divorced a few years back, and when she started to try and date, it was very red pill also. Yeah. So there's just a shift in everything. And so a few years back, he said to me, I said something about him finding somebody else, and he said, I don't want to have to start over with anybody else. And my little feelings were hurt because you're supposed to say you want to be with me because I am the best thing that ever happened to you. And so fast forward a couple of years, I get it now because there's not a lot that it doesn't appear to be a lot to choose from. And so from my perspective, with what I see on social media, it's very red pill like. But it's difficult to fully believe in that because of what we see in real life. And in real life, we have a good relationship and we see other people who do as well.
I tell you, the thing is, it's like if people were willing to pull away from I guess the annex of social media, because social media will have you believe that, there are, no good men or good women out there, which is not true, Now, with that being said, the good men and the good women may not be of your liking because, you have these standards, or you have these protocols that you may have set for yourself. A lot of the women want the 6 figures and the 6 feet and the 6 everything, and you might have to get a 6 in one and a 5 in the other. You might, you might have to switch some of that up because look at your geographics. How likely are you to meet a man in your town that's making 6 figures? You know what I'm saying? Is that likely? People just need to be realistic as far as their goals. And I think you can have everything you want. You just have to be realistic about it. And you may have to look in some places that, typically you may not think of. And that's like what we're here to promote, your true love might be that individual that you're walking past every day, because you want this type of woman, and you're not getting into it. It's kind of like as I say, if you go to the same bar and you meet the same type of women, but you want, a better type of woman, well, you might have to change the bar you go to. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like how I look at it.
What y'all finances like? Do y'all have your separate bank accounts? Do y'all got a joint bank account? Do y'all got a household bank account?
That's another one that. So we have joint bank accounts. So both names are on all bank accounts. We have open access to all accounts.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons that it's been that way, one of the reasons was I didn't work with our kids. So there was no need for separate accounts. And we have come across the situation where people tell women, put something aside just in case. And, even if you have a shared account, you need to have your own. And that was something even my mom said to me early in time. And my mom, she adored him. When we were friends, this was her son. And so it wasn't anything against him. It was her and her experiences telling me that I needed to, just have something put aside just in case. And I told her I would much rather put that energy into my marriage than planning for the demise of my marriage. And so that's one thing that I understand, when they say you have a household account and then each of you have your separate accounts for spending money. And that works for some, but for us, we have everything shared. And I know for me, that's just another thing for me to question. Why you got to have money that I don't know about? What you spending it on? So that's something that helps keep things, peaceful for us.
And there again, for us, it was definitely different because, when we got married, now, I ain't have.
We didn't have nothing.
I had shit.
We didn't.
You know what I'm saying? I had $6.25 an hour is what I was making. When we first got married. And, but I had drive. I had, I had determination. My determination was I want to take care of my family. So, I never settled for, I was making $6.25, but now, I'm going to find a job that's going to make $8. I'm going to find a job that's going to make 10, until I finally landed to the company that I'm working for. And, I saw the growth opportunity. So I'm there. And now I am currently at 6 figures now. You know what I'm saying? But it took me 10 years to get there. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things that, I try to encourage some of these young females too, is like, hey, you got a brother that's making 5 figures that, you can have a good life on 5 figures. Why you need 6? If you take your 5 and his 5 and put it together, y'all can have an exceptional life. But I think that social media has just driven people to just have all these different expectations. And you have to be careful about those expectations. And a lot of people were ticked off and turned off about my brother Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. But some of the stuff brother was saying was true. You know what I'm saying?
His delivery was horrible.
His delivery was bad, but I mean, and when you're in high school and college, you're around a lot of people that you're alike, but once you get in the real world, your real estate value is,
oh God,
you're not around as many people, like-minded people, in the real world, because you're around people that you work with. So it's like, and if you're not careful, you're 40 and 45 and,
about to say something.
alone, and they're like, well, I want happiness. I can't seem to find it. And it's like, well, the brother that you're looking for might not want a woman that's got 2 or 3 kids.
My.
That's just real. That's just, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not, I'm saying that any woman can have whatever she wants. I just want women to be realistic about where they are in life. You know what I'm saying? And, if you can't get it, you might have to, hey, pull some of that back. The same way with brothers too. You know what I'm saying? Men have to do the same. Pull some of that back, bro. You might have to look at another diet. You might have to go to Africa and get you one, brother. Try.
What do you think about work husbands and work wives?
No. Nah, that ain't gonna work.
Nah.
It's somebody at your job where it's always around y'all.
Nah.
That's how it hovers.
Nah.
Nah, that don't work.
I wish I would hear him
Yeah.
refer to somebody as his work wife.
I'm not saying you refer to. I'm just saying as at work that people that like for me it's simple. It's always somebody at my job. Like I do freelance, so I'm always meeting different women, and it's always something, something different. And we hang out a lot, and they just always around me. And when I'm at work, different jobs.
So, and we are naturally in positions where it doesn't happen. That he works in a paper mill.
We got a lot of men around,
right? And then for me, I teach, and so I've worked with men. I've had men teammates that I've taught with before, but he usually at some point meets my coworkers, and he knows if there's, like I said, we'll text about something that's going on in terms of work, but nothing that's close like that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be taking plates to nobody.
Yeah.
So, and if somebody brings him, if his work wife wants to bring a plate, she needs to bring 2, because I'll eat. She can feed both of us, but
if I was to have a work wife, she would be probably 10 or 12 years older than me, and Gertrude. I can make some good macaroni, boy.
And there again, fix 2 plates because I'll eat.
But I as far as there are some women that work out at my job, I just keep things professional, man, because it's like, and there are some relationships that have been established where I work at. There people have crossed the line, were married and started relationships while they were out there, and now they're married. I just, I learned a long time ago when I was working at Burger King when I was in high school. Keep your money and your honey separate, because it's funny, because I was working. When I was at Burger King in high school, right, it was my first job. I started messing with this young lady, right, talking to her. And now the Burger King that I worked at was in the vicinity of like everybody that lived around there went to school with me, in the high school with me. So, I mean, of course, there's going to be a female that I would go to school with, Hey, what was the algebra homework at such and such class, something like that. And, then she is looking at me all crazy, like, what you talking to that broad for? And I'm like, I mean, she just wanted the homework, you know what I'm saying? So I dealt with that long time ago. I'm like, look, that was stressful enough at 16. So I'm like, I dang sure can handle that, because I've been messed up, and where I work at, it's a lot of machinery and it's a lot of dangerous equipment and stuff. So I can't be thinking about that stuff.
Where y'all located? I guess y'all go shopping at the mall, right?
Occasionally.
So hypothetically, you was to walk through the mall and somebody was running to you and say, "Hey, you want to take a loyalty test? Would you take it?"
Loyalty test?
Yes. Would you take it?
I've seen those things online.
That's why I asked you. Would you take it?
I could probably, in my mindset, I could probably pass it.
Would you take it?
I've never seen it. What does it consist
You
of?
know, when they ask they might ask some questions, you know, the dude to be out there with his phone, they might be asking the young lady questions and or something like I'd
Oh,
seen them.
they would switch phones. They would switch
Uh-huh.
Oh
phones,
yeah, switching
and they would
phones.
go through texts,
Oh
email.
Oh
yeah.
they do all that.
Yeah.
Half the time
Yeah.
we texting each other, showing each other stuff. And,
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that.
yeah,
It's different ones. But go
Yeah.
ahead, finish what you were saying.
No, I yeah, I don't have a problem with I was telling him I'm oblivious to my surroundings. I don't know. We were talking about something. I pick at him because older white women specifically just love him. And I'm like, if you can get us in a wheel somewhere, I'm cool with that. But I don't see attention from men or anything like that. So it doesn't even get to a point to where there could be something in my phone. So
I just
yeah. The white woman thing. I met a white woman one time, and she was like, I like black men, but I like black men. And I say black, I mean black. So basically, it's probably because he dark skinned.
You weren't dark enough.
I wasn't dark enough. No, I wasn't dark enough.
Yeah. I mean, and I have like, even with those, like I said, a lot of times they're neighbors, like old women that live by themselves, and I'm always trying to help anybody out any way I can. So, if I can save them some money on whatever, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you have that. I mean, everything they know my wife is always respectable. Always try to move as if, I'm not trying to disrespect her in any type of way. And I want any woman that's in my other woman I come in contact with to understand that, that she comes first, regardless of anything. So, I don't move like that. I can't afford to move like that.
Okay, my next question for you. Your friends, okay? Y'all a couple. I guess y'all got a lot of friends that's couples. Y'all go on the double dates or something like that. Or maybe you have like maybe a game night at your house. They all come around. If one of your friends are cheating, would you tell the other friend? Or would you condone it? Or would you condone it?
I wouldn't condone it, but it depends on how that come because um that's a tough one there.
that's a tough one for
It's
him.
a tough one.
I don't do dishonesty. I don't want
Yeah, I don't like it either. I don't like it either, but I don't want to be that one that bust them to ruin their relationship. You know what I'm saying? Or I don't want to be that exposed.
The relationship.
I mean, I know it does, but I'm saying like, the pressure of exposing, like,
right.
If it's one, like, I'm gonna talk to him, be like, hey man, what the hell you doing? You know what I'm saying? What's going on here? You need to leave that alone, and I'm gonna let him know, and I'm gonna let him know now if you mess around and get caught, it's all on you. I'm gonna talk to him the best way I can, but as far as like automatically, I found out something going to tell her. I don't know because I just hate to get involved in that aspect, and then now they both looking at me sideways. He mad at me and she mad at me. And then I've had situations in the past, like when we were teenagers and stuff, where I said something and both of them were mad at me. Like, what the hell? I'm not trying to help you. What the hell you mad at me for?
I had told before, and on both sides of the equation, like people that I wasn't messing with, like this casually acquaintances, like yo, your girl bugging out, that's such a,
Yeah.
And then I had actual friends where their girlfriends came on to me, and I told them, and worst thing I ever did, that they stopped being my friend.
I'm gonna tell her though, like, it was like,
oh yeah, we tell
such
we're gonna tell each other.
That's crazy. What you think?
But my friends are single, with the exception of one. And sometimes she acts like she doesn't want him. So I ain't worried about her finding anybody else. But I think too, I don't think we talked about this one time. I don't think any of our friends would ever try to cross a line with one of us.
Yeah.
Because they know how close we are.
Yeah.
But his friends know that he's exceptional. He's an exceptional human. And so the idea of thinking I'm gonna step to Margaret, knowing that I'm married to him, that's absurd. And I'm sure his friends would think that.
Yeah.
But they know how close we are also. But I also think that because they know how close we are, I think that if anybody was cheating, they wouldn't tell us. I don't think they would. They know how close the two of us are.
You know, even if I have a single friend, I had a friend that's single, and he was not in a relationship at the time. He was just seeing somebody. So you gonna tell me, one time he said, "Yeah, I had to go hop the fence, man. Fence, he going to see something else." All right, now you need to be careful when you going to see somebody else now. Mess around and have child number 2, because he waited till we was in our 40s to have a child. And so mess around and have child number 2, you need to be careful. So they know that I'm gonna be the one that's gonna be like, all right, now if you do that, I guess to say the girl's usually mother hen, I'm father rooster or something.
Yeah.
Be careful there, boy.
I can use that. I can put that on a t-shirt, Father Rooster. I got your permission to put that on a t-shirt, Father Rooster.
There you go.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. All right. We'll play a little game and then we're gonna close, okay?
All right.
So if you could pick anybody, past, present, or future, to be for a year and then come back with that knowledge, who would it be?
To be for a year. Come back with that knowledge.
I'm gonna be Bill Gates.
I'm gonna be Oprah.
I want to know. It's Oprah Gate.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
I want to know it's her and Gal, a couple on the low.
Give me a year, I'll let you
know. In that case, I'll be Gail. But
look, does it even matter at that point?
Right. I mean, I'd be Gail. I'd leave him for Oprah. I mean,
yeah. I always pick somebody different. I always pick somebody different. So this time, I'll probably choose Akhenaten. You know,
Akhenaten?
Yes, I'll choose Akhenaten to see, was he really Moses or somebody like that, and see, was he like really pot bellied and elongated head, and stuff like that, and also see, was it magic back then? See, was it like any kind of like really like real magic, because the Bible got magic in it, So if the Bible got magic in it, if people believe in the Bible, you must believe in magic, you got to, or you don't believe in the Bible,
Now, you say each time you pick someone different, so we obviously pick surface level people. Did you start out picking surface level people and then got deeper with it, or are we just surface level people?
I'm gonna see who I picked.
That was a good one. I
think I picked Adam and Eve once.
Okay.
I got Adam once.
See, here we are. You trying to find some deep rooted knowledge. I'm trying to get a little money.
What is? I like that one. I hadn't thought of that one before.
All right. Y'all got any last words for the audience?
Last words.
Last word.
Yeah, I got some laughing stuff. My Ice Cube. Definitely when it comes to relationships, I say people need to do what makes them happy. There's no couple that we hold to high esteem, even if they've been together 50, 60 years. You know, you have to do what works for you.
Yeah.
You know, some people will be like, well, I don't like this and I don't like that. And just like, as long as the two of you come together and you decide that this is what we like, this is what makes us happy, then you do what's going to work for you. And everybody else is leave them aside, man, because at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, when the door is shut and those covers go back, it's the two of you that are together.
Yeah.
And that's the best I can give.
I would say focus on falling in like.
Yep.
And making sure that you're with somebody that that you like being around, because there are people that we love, but we don't want to see them every day. It's like that helps you be able to wake up next to the person day in, day out, and still come back home at the end of the day. So focus on creating a relationship where you like each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you for watching Relationship Convo. Please like, share, and subscribe, and follow my special guests. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.